This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Now it's time for Spiritual Learning with Priestess Lily.
Welcome to my radio show, Priestess Lily, Sacred Heart Healer, Space Holder, and Spiritual Life Coach. Hi, I'm Priestess Lily, and welcome. This radio show podcast I have helped create to assist humanity rise the consciousness through connection and holding space for thought-activating conversations with heart-centered leaders, wisdom keepers, and divine humans expanding into their authenticity and soul purpose. The sacred vessel is a soulful activation, a recalling, a reclaiming parts of yourself that you may have forgotten in order for us to heal and walk in the cyclic nature of ourselves, Mother Earth, and the universal energy. Which brings me to my divine, expansive human being today. Magdalena Lopez is a spiritual technology mentor and coach. Through spiritual technology, a concept that she herself has developed, which brings together a human being quantum knowledge and spiritual techniques that help find the balance between body, mind, and soul, converts the dreamers in search, an alchemy woman capable of transforming their lives and live empowered, full of joy, success, and abundance. She creates the most divine, sacred spaces where she guides you in your transformational process to achieve clarity. Learn to empower yourself and use your full potential to become the conscious leader that you are. Welcome. I'm so excited about interviewing you because I just feel that this is going to be such a delicious conversation that is just going to be so divinely guided by spirit and really embodied for what our listeners need.
Thank you very much. I also feel the same, and all my body is like already feeling the energy. I love it.
Yeah. And I know that you and I have just talked briefly about what we were going to talk about. So we're just really opening this up to be divinely led by our guides in spirit. And so when for you did you first realize that you had a connection with outer realms?
Well, I think all my life I have been connected. All my life I was asking myself questions that no one else was asking for. I even remember my sister saying, you always say you see things, and I also want to see that things. But once I grow up, I always believe in magic, but like I keep it on the side, right? And then life got a little bit complicated, like, emotionally, when you are growing up, when you are a teenager, when you need to choose your career. And then I was like, but I don't like that, but I don't feel connected with that. But what I'm going to be in the future? And trying to keep all the expectations from your parents like on hold and trying to do the correct thing. But all the time my soul was like, no, it's not that. It's not this. It's not this. It's another way. And then I had my spiritual awakening with 21. And then I started to going deep. And here I am today with you.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's the thing. Your soul actually knows why it's here. we tend to complicate things, and the outside world complicates things. But when we allow it to lead, it actually knows why it's here, what it's here, and what it's actually here to do.
Exactly. We know, but the point is, our mind is just focusing all the time in the outside. And right now, there are so many things going on that this create in some way so many stuff in your mind that you cannot listen to your body. And when you listen to your body, this is the connection with your soul. So we are actually totally disconnected with our body. And that's why we cannot listen this intuition. We cannot listen the spirit world. We cannot listen the divine. We cannot even listen what we want to do in life, because we are putting our mind focusing in what the TV say, what my teacher say, what my husband say, what my sister or my brother say, and you are not listening to yourself. And wow, and now it's like kind of in these 2 years we had, right? Like trying to listen our truth.
Yeah.
That was a big learning. Like with all the decisions we had to take, and if we were not connected with ourselves, we felt we were really saying no to ourselves. And when we take decisions, saying no to ourselves is when we are disconnecting ourselves from our own reality. We are living the reality from others, but we are not living our own reality.
And
that's
yeah. You carry on, honey.
Oh, I wanted to say that because I say no so many times to what I felt, I had 2 burnouts. Right? And that's why I take so serious to just listen to myself, listen to my circles, listen to my energy, listen to my body, that I don't go again in this situation where I have to deal with a burnout. And, burnout, what it is just that you are not listening to yourself.
And I think that's really, there's so much deliciousness just in everything you've just shared there. I think that's really important. We've allowed experts outside of ourselves to become the experts of what we need. When really, when we really tune into our soul, our body, and I know this is so much definitely for me, when we tune into our body at a deeper frequency, at a deeper level, because we forget that our body is the vessel, the body, the physical body is the vessel for the spiritual expansion, for the knowing, for us to deepen into our own practice, for us to hear our soul whispers and the whispers of the universe and the cosmos and, all of that. I really feel that the last 2 years has been, as much as it has been deeply, deeply activating, and the narrative has been built around fear and collective trauma, I honestly believe at the same time, this has been an opportunity for us to reevaluate life and reevaluate and listen more intuitively and in tune with what we need. And I know that to be true for myself. Would you agree, hun?
I totally agree, because you know what happened, and this is something that is happening all the time to the spiritual workers and spiritual healers and people who are in the spiritual journey. It is like they go very up, but they forget the body. And the point is, we have 2 matrices, the material matrix and the spiritual matrix that we cannot see but we can feel it, but we cannot see, we cannot touch. What happened is that when you focus so much in this invisible world, and you don't take care of your physical matrix, which is your body, these connections, you cannot put down the spiritual world. Right? And these 2 years, in some way, the connection and the focus was in the body. The body don't get sick. The body, this, you need to keep healthy. You need to do this to stay good. But the point is, it was just an alert. You have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to your body. You have to decide for yourself. You have to say yes to what you feel and not what other people, external environment said. And this is the real spirituality. The real spirituality is to putting down what you are feeling, what you are experiencing in this invisible world, to put it down through your body, through your actions, to be in this alignment, in this coherence. And of course, when is the challenge? The challenge comes in the difficult moments, in the difficult decisions. There is where we have to put our spirituality on practice. Spirituality is not about meditation. It is a part, because the soul needs to calm, of course, because of every things that are going on outside. But the real spirituality is in the action. It's in the moment you have to decide for yourself. Are you telling you yes to yourself, or are you telling you no?
And I think, that's really important. Many people go, how do I become more spiritual? Or how do I get, to learn more about my intuition or manifesting, or, all of the things that, look like they come easy to people like you and I. And it is a daily practice. I do believe there's parts of it that's a daily practice, but also for our own growth and our own expansion. But the biggest thing is tuning into yourself. That is the biggest thing that I think, when we have an opportunity to really tune into ourselves as a whole and forget about the beliefs or the conditioning or what others need from us, rather than what we feel, and become more in tune with our oh God, I got all the feels today, with our feelings, that is one of the biggest, like, aha for your own expansion and growth.
Yes. So tuning in ourselves is totally the point, but we cannot tune in ourselves if we don't know how we work.
Yeah.
And that's the point. And this is why I always say I teach spiritual technology, because for me, the spiritual technology, it means the knowledge from the human being. How works the human being? What it is. It is just this body, but actually I'm feeling things. So it has a energy body, but I also thinking. So there is a mind body, but I'm also receiving stuff that I don't know, inspiration. So there is a spiritual body. How all these parts from the human being works. And learning and going deep into this knowledge and putting in practice this knowledge is what it helps you to tune into yourself. I have on my body right now, like, vibrating.
Yeah, same. I'm sitting here, got the feels, got the itches, the whole thing going on. And I think this is like what we're talking about. How I channel or tune into myself is completely different to you. We all of us this, and if we haven't learned anything in the last 2 years, we're all different. We're actually all unique in our own self. We don't all fit in the same model, in the same system, in the same size, in the same belief system, in the same knowing. And what works for me might not work for you. And it's like I say to people, some days for me, it's a practice of simply just movement. Other days, and I get lots of information. Other days, it's meditation. Other days, it's journaling. Other days, it's just washing the dishes and it's all coming in just like tenfold.
Of course, we are all here to experience life in the way it suits for us. And spirituality is the same. When I'm working with my clients and they say, oh, but Magda, is everything much more simple? Because it is simple. But the point is you don't know how to do and how to make your life simple. Mm-hmm. You don't know how to make your practice simple. And the practice is so simple that the only thing you have to do is listen to yourself. Listen to yourself and respect what you are feeling. But, of course, a lot of people say, how do I know that what I'm thinking is my intuition or is my mind? There you have to learn. This is the knowledge of the human being, how the mind from the human being works, how the intuition from the human being works. How can you connect with that intuition? If you don't know this how, you are not going to be sure, of course. That's why the knowledge is so important to that.
Yeah. And, when you start to tune into your body and really start to tune into your intuition and really start to feel and understand your own knowing, your own wisdom, that frequency, that's when you have a real opportunity to start manifesting and really expanding, because everything's unlimited. Everything's unlimited. That's when you have an opportunity to really expand and really deepen into your desires and manifest and call in what you desire. Would you agree?
Totally. And you know what? I had a situation where I was like, why I'm not manifesting? Why I want to create that and it's not working? And then I realized that I was not holding the time. I was not aligned with my inner circles. I was not aligned with the circles of the universe, right? Because we think, as a human being with all this knowledge that they gave us and want that we work like, I do this and it has to be right now. We forgot that everything in our world, it has a time. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. We need 3 months to go from one station, from one time to the other one. When you get pregnant, you need 9 months. And the point is, I was launching or I was doing one project, and before I arrived to the end of the circle of the project, I was already doubting myself. I was already entering in this judgment that, of course, it was motivated because I had some programs, some beliefs, okay? And I was not holding the energy to just let this manifestation arrive to me. And then I realized that, especially women, because we have our feminine moment in the month, our period, and we are so connected with emotions, and emotions is the moon, okay? Then I realized that, oh my God, we have such a beautiful tool, which is the moon and the women's circles, to align ourselves with our inner wisdom, to tune into ourselves and then manifest whatever we want. And this is technology, this is knowledge, this is knowing how the feminine energy and the women works. and how also the moon works, and how we have everything we need, all the knowledge we need. We just have it in front of us, but we don't see it because we are not putting the focus in the important things.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm totally on board with moon cycles and manifesting and, you know, everything aligning. That is my zone of gene. Like, that's, you know, something that I practice myself all the time. And it's interesting what you say, because this is the thing that I see a lot with some of my clients. Their needs or their wants or desires doesn't match their frequency, doesn't match their energetic frequency. So there's this real push-pull energy. And, you know, it's like I say to them, divine timing. Everything will come in divine timing. When you energetically are ready to expand into that new vibrational space or life or place, it will just align. And that is, you know, frustrating, because people normally, we've become a society that's about I want it now. And that is not how the spirit world, the cosmos, the universe, the outer realms actually work.
Exactly. And the point is that there is this divine time, but if we learn how to work with the frequency, and if we learn how to connect with our moon circles and with our period circles and with our energy, we can actually realize faster that what is holding us back to achieve for what we want, because we are gonna make a consciousness about. We are gonna be aware, because we are gonna read the energy. We are gonna realize from the experience we are experiencing now. We are gonna realize what is the program, what is the mindset that I have, that I need to attune to just see outside what I want to live. And this is kind of a way of amplifying our perspective, understanding how the energy works, how the frequency works, and how the matrix manifestation works. Because we know that what is inside is outside. But if we don't know how to read the outside signals, we don't know what we have inside. And the moon circles, our feminine circles, help us to see that energy and to realize this energy and to attune to manifest what we want faster.
And I think right now, more than, you know, this is what our ancestors, the woman that came before us, this is how they lived, you know, the red tent, the in cyclic nature, where, you know, when they bled, you know, it was all about resting, and you know, they really deeply honored their body, their wisdom as a whole. And I think through, obviously, the society we live in now, women are so used to being on 24/7, when really, you know, if we actually peeled back and attuned more into ourselves, our body, you know, the moon cycle, everything that, you know, everything that you and I feel and know, life would be so much more expansive just by honoring that practice.
Yes. And I would say they were just devotional to themselves. They knew the knowledge. They were aware about the power of the energy. They were aware about the power of nature, about the power of the moon, about the power of the sun, and they were respecting the land where we are living. And this is something that our society right now just forgot. They just focus in fear instead of focusing in peace, instead of focusing in feeling connected, in feeling expanded, in feeling that everything is possible. All the thoughts are going into the other direction, but it's normal because we are living in duality. And to connect, to change the paradigm, we need to experience this duality to know exactly what we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to experience that we forgot our body with an illness, for example, that we realize we have a body and I have to take care of it. So what we are experiencing right now is experiencing this polarity where we don't want to go to just make people realize, hey, what I'm doing, I'm working in something that I'm not interested about. I'm doing something that I don't like. I will actually could be happy and I'm not being happy. And this experience, experiencing this duality, it helps us to realize what we don't want and what we really want.
Yeah.
And there are people who already realize and other people they didn't, because we all have our timings.
Yeah, totally agree. And when we start to, like, I know for myself, intuitively and with all of my inner knowing, when it's the full moon, I am so on point for a channeling. You know, I know that my connection in that time is so much more stronger and so much more potent than it ever, you know, I mean, it for me. And that's when I'm very, very expansive in my connection.
For every person is totally different. It is depending of your energy, depending with what you connect, depending how you also are feeling, and also the moments that you are experiencing. But what I always follow, it is like new moon, we start connecting with our intuition, what I would like to bring alive. It is like this moment where you go deep inside yourself and connect with this divine creativity that is going through us. And once I connect with that, then I start to take alignment action.
Mm-hmm.
What I have received, what I think, what I feel, what I say, and what I do, it has to be the same. Then I do these steps, then I arrive in the full moon and I already feel this energy, like you say, very connected, very like, oh, I say yes to myself. I say yes to the project I receive. I say yes to that it was growing inside myself, and I did the steps. What I'm going to achieve, I don't know. The universe will say, when is the time? I don't know. But in that moment, to be positioned in the energy that I celebrate in the last week, I say yes to myself. This is so powerful. Align with the full moon. It's so powerful. And then after all this excitement and after all this celebration, the moon is just starting to be more dark, right? Yeah. And then you just going again inside and feeling what is coming out right now. What is this darkness that I'm feeling? What is my sabotage? What I'm thinking that I don't really think? And then you work on that. That then again, when you arrive into the dark moon and the new moon, you can again connect with something deep and maybe implement changes in your project, implement changes in your life, or just create something new. And it's so beautiful because if you connect the moon, we are speaking now about the moon because maybe there are women that they don't have their period. But if you also connect your period and you know how you feel during these 28 months, 28 days, connected with the 28 days from the moon. I mean, this is magic. This is magic because you are tuning with your energy. You are listening to yourself. You are going inside yourself. And once you do that, you are implementing spirituality. This is spirituality. Connect with yourself. People do it with meditation, other people with breathwork, other people, but the power of being connected with our planet and also the external cycle on our planet and also our internal cycle, this is so amazing.
And I mean, you and I know that. And I know that for myself, through being connected with the moon cycle, with also my body and the cycles and seasons of Mother Nature, has really brought so much change energetically within me, energetically, with my emotions, with the manifesting, with it's just not one thing that has accelerated, but I have never felt so much more aligned and complete as a spiritual being, as a human being.
It happened the same to me because I was not doubting anymore of myself. I was realizing that something external was just making an influence into my emotions. And this is when we go into this moment of depression in the month, right? That we feel, I feel a little bit down. I don't want to work. I don't have motivation. Oh, look at the cycles. Look at the moon. Look at your period, how it is. Then you will realize it doesn't have to be with you. You just have to hold the energy, give yourself the space. And once you respect that space, every time you go more and more deeply into your connections. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and I know I used to have moon circles, and I still sometimes do moon circles, and you know, when we surrender something to the universe, the Great Mother, angels, goddesses, is what, you know, whatever it is that sits aligned with us. I think people think, oh yeah, it's taken care of. I don't have to do anything more. You know, when they're manifesting, oh, it's taken care of. I've done my work. But the reality is, and this is what I know to be true, and this is what, you know, we have to reconnect back to that energy. That energy is kind of not, you know, we've surrendered it and we want, you know, that dream house, or we want, you know, whatever it is that we're trying to manifest. But I know for myself, I've had to, I reconnect with that energy. I hold that space. I make an altar. I connect to that energy just to see, you know, on the moon cycle, what's my thing? What's my blockage around it? What's my limiting belief? You know, how I can play with it to still bring it to me. Does that make sense, what I've just said?
Yeah, it makes sense. And the point is that it's something very important here when we speak about manifesting and doing things, right? The point is this way of doing. It is very masculine energy.
Yeah. Totally.
And the masculine energy, it just brings us into the doing without purpose. But when you listen to yourself, when you are connecting with yourself, when you connect with what you want to manifest, then what you are doing is not doing. Is what I always call like passion discipline. Because it is something that is coming from inside, and then it has another energy. You just don't have to do anymore. It is like, I'm taking action, but it's an aligned action. So it doesn't cost suffer. It is not something that is heavy for me. It is not something that, oh my God, I just want that is finished. No, it is just joy, it's pleasure, is what we actually want to live, because our society is just all the time into I have to. This I have to brought me in the two burnouts, and I'm 35.
Mm.
And then I realized, no, I don't want to continue like that.
Yeah. And I know that, obviously I still own a catering company. So that is a very physical, give. And as much as I was, for me, that role was very fulfilling. At the same time, I wasn't honoring what I needed at a soul level. And I remember one day feeling so burnt out because I had just, was actually just before New Zealand went into our nationwide lockdown. I'd done 35 weddings in the space of, 4 months, sorry. And I was working my ass off so I could go to Hawaii, which we've spoken about, to a women's retreat and to a graduation that I was part of a graduation. And I remember, when I couldn't go, or when, the borders were shut, a part of me was absolutely gutted, but the other part of me was so relieved, like so energetically relieved, because I was manifesting things in my business, but I was in such a masculine energy in that business of do, on, be, that my soul, my body just wanted to rest. And I think the first week of lockdown, I cried because I was purging, and I knew it was coming. I knew that there were things that I needed to change. But that first week was actually, I spent, 24 hours in here crying my eyes out. I had to really tune into my body as a whole. But at the same time, I had to let go of everything that wasn't serving me, because I wasn't living aligned anymore with what my soul vibration wanted. And I was so caught up, even so my outside of my business looked so feminine to people, the masculine energy inside my business was killing me.
I totally understand you, because I was in this business for a long time. My parents had a restaurant and a wedding restaurant.
Yeah.
And I know it is to have weddings on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, like working, the pressure that there is behind.
Yeah.
And in such a levels of stress, the point is we lost ourselves.
Yeah.
And even though this business, it has a beautiful purpose, because what is more beautiful than celebrated love and organize a wedding for someone who is celebrating love? Yeah. I mean, what is more beautiful than that? But we just lost this purpose because we have to. That's why I always tell my clients, you have to think every few months to go to again realign yourself with your purpose in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though I'm doing right now what I love, I have to redefine my purpose, because if not, it's very easy to go again into this pattern of I have to. But just because, why? Because we need to pay bills, we need to pay school for kids, we need to provide our family. And this is going again into the system, the old beliefs patterns, the ones that say you need something. Mm-hmm. Or because you are not enough, you don't have enough. But actually, this is the 3D matrix, or the paradigm, the old paradigm. If we go into the new paradigm and we understand how the energy works, we know that there is this infinity possibility vortex or void where we can access.
Mm-hmm.
And if you open yourself to access to that energy, and you are really connected with your body here on earth, you are just this channel where you just manifest all the infinity possibilities through your body here on earth. And that's the new way of living. That's the way of manifesting, not doing.
Mm-hmm.
So doing, but into this passion discipline, because you are aligned.
Yeah.
You're just doing the steps you have to do because you have this big purpose that is driving you. And when we connect with this big purpose, all these infinity possibilities just happens.
Mm-hmm. And you're dead right. I mean, I remember sitting in here for me, and I remember saying to my spirit guides, righto, if I'm meant to work in Miss Lily's, which is my catering company, I'll just I'll show up. But if I'm actually meant to be doing something else, you just have to move me. And I remember at that time, I wasn't even showing up in Priestess Lily. I wasn't even doing any of this. And it was like, I have the wage subsidy till September. I surrender. Just put me wherever the hell I'm meant to be. I will just show up and get out of my own way. And then, in 6 months, 4 months time, I was working full time in Priestess Lily. And I was like, holy crap, righto. And, radio show, co-authored with another number of spiritual women a book. And because I just got out of my own way and I just surrendered. Do I think right now that this is, doing the work that I do right now is my purpose work? Yes, in some capacity, but absolutely not. I think that this was the space for me to get comfortable, for them to then show me the next full pieces to come through. Because when I feel energetically what I'm here to co-create, I go, I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm just not ready, But energetically, I know that that's what my soul's here to do.
And this is the magic work, surrender. That this is everything, because our mind thinks that she knows what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But once you surrender and you let the divine guide you, wow, what is gonna happen is just something unbelievable. And that's why I always say a spiritual technology for women who believe in magic, because this magic is happening. This magic is just going through you, and then you are gonna be where you have to be in the moment you have to be. And the way the things are gonna just happen and connect are gonna be so fantastic, and the results are gonna be much more better than what you just could think. That then you just don't stop going surrender all the time. It's like, I'm just gonna surrender and just surprise myself.
Totally. And I think this is what, I hope the people listening to this conversation really understand that everything is a frequency. Money's a frequency. Everything around, depression is a frequency. Everything is a frequency. And when we start to just become aware of that and tune into that in itself can open doors.
Exactly. I had one teacher who used to tell me, Magda, you just need less than a second to manifest what you want. The only thing you need is a second of frequency alignment. Because before, when I didn't understand how everything was working, I was always saying, but then what I need 3 months to manifest this, what I want. And she was like, Magda, this question is coming from your mind. And then I realized, but why? And once I understood that everything is frequency and you just need to align earth frequency with a spiritual world frequency. And once you align that, you just need 1 second to just manifest here whatever you need. But you need to surrender. You need to surrender the way this is going to come to you. You need to surrender your sabotage. You need to surrender your beliefs. You need to surrender your attachments. Wow. This is a work.
Yeah, and I think that's hard for people because they're the things that have kept us safe. You know, they're the things that have kept us safe. And then all of a sudden, you're being told that you have to surrender those things or let those things go. You know, and consciously, I think a lot of people, and I know for myself, we actually don't know what half our beliefs and conditions are. You know, I know now for me, this last 2 years, I've really sat deeply in my belief system, deeply in my conditions. What is my belief around ABC? And what is actually a taught belief from my parents? You know, what is my belief, my personal belief, and what is a belief from my husband or a belief from society or a belief from my girlfriends? And, you know, obviously for me, that in itself has been such a journey over the last 2 years, such a deepening, such a journey, because I've really had to untangle energy and frequency of others out of my own self to really align wholeheartedly.
Oh my God, I understand you totally, because it was the same journey to me. Like when we got the lockdown in Switzerland, it was 16th of March. And I was just coming back 3 months traveling from Asia, recovering from 9 months burnout. I had to deal with all these patterns to be able to live a secure job in a private bank in Switzerland, to do whatever I love. And I just start being entrepreneur and it comes a lockdown. Can you imagine that? And every day, there was not one day I was saying, thank you, because if I will be in the bank with a lockdown, I will be dying because of all the beliefs, all the fear I had, all the patterns I was following from my family. And thanks God, the spirit world just put me in that situation before a lockdown, that I could work everything in a safe environment before I was able to face what we all face in the last 2 years, right? And every day I was saying, thank you, and surrender that I'm in the perfect moment, in the perfect place, and I'm safe. And they are going to take care of me because I'm doing the work. This is important. Doing the work means say yes to yourself.
And I think... I think what you've just said is massive, because I think people are afraid to do the work. You know, a lot of people don't know what the work is, or are afraid to do the work, or don't even have an awareness of, and not, you know, I think this is the thing that we're needing to really feel into, because in order for us to evolve into, you know, a higher frequency energy and out of 3D energy, we have to become uncomfortable to become comfortable. We can, you know, and I know that for myself, I have been deeply challenged, you know, dark soul of the night kind of stuff, but it has always brought me into a deeper understanding, a more expanded awareness. And this is the part that in order for us to work with the moon cycles and nature and everything that, we've just talked about, there's a shadow side to that. But there's always so much joy. When you have your realization and it's like, oh my God, light bulb moment, hallelujah.
It's the same, like I told you before, the last 2 years were so difficult, but now I can say, oh yes, I did it. I did it. And you feel so good.
Yeah.
But of course, it means to cry. It means to let things go. It means to just surrender to what is going to happen, and don't let control take over. And this is hard. This is the darkness of the night of the soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is hard, but after that, you say, oh, yes, I did it. How good I feel right now. How good things are coming to my way, and how fantastic new people I get to meet on the way. And it's so beautiful. But we have to journey the way.
Yeah, and it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. It's part of our spiritual awakening. It's, we're always awakening. I think people have this perception that, like, I'll do this and I'm spiritually awakened. We are always evolving because nature's evolving, because spirit's evolving, because Mother Earth is evolving, because everything's in cycles, everything's cyclic.
So beautiful, because today I had a client, 70 years old, and she just discovered the personal development and the spiritual development. And she was telling me, Magda, but I go step by step. I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve it. No? And I was like asking her, but what do you need to achieve? You are already doing it. This is the journey is never ending. The point is that every day you feel better. Every day you feel aligned with yourself. Every day you feel that you are doing things because you feel it, that you are following your truth. And then she was like, wow, because we think that we have to achieve something, but the only thing we need to achieve is our happiness.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And the happiness... Yeah, and the happiness in inner state. It's not something else.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important. I think we forget that actually we're our own purpose. The purpose that we have in life is we're the purpose.
Yeah.
It's, and we complicate everything. Everything else is just part of the complication. If we just remember that one thing, and then tune into that and our authenticity and who we really, and get to know who we really are without our conditions, without our beliefs, without the system, without all of those other things. This is just natural.
Yes. And you know what is the most beautiful thing? That all our days are a ritual, a devotion ritual to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are in that devotional energy, you just you are enlightened, and you give light to everyone who is around you. And this is the most beautiful, because you don't need to convince anyone that what you are doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
No, because they are gonna see it by themselves, and they are gonna ask you, and they are gonna tell you, what are you doing that we are in lockdown, everyone is crying, everyone is depressed, and you're just lighting. You're just happy. You're just with this brightness. Why? What are you doing? And that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to giving light to people who are around us.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't give them light and help them when you help yourself, when you are embracing that light.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's powerful. So we're coming to an end of my show. And what would you, I have 3 sacred shares that I always ask every client. What would you tell your 5-year-old self?
don't stop believing in magic.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. There's so much. And I think, I'm not even going to go there because then they'll start another whole podcast. If you could change something in the collective, what would you change right now?
I will turn off TV. I will turn off internet. I will turn off all the media and let everyone connect with their inner wisdom.
Oh, that is so potent too. Love it. And so what do you do also for a daily practice, sacred daily practice, just to connect to yourself?
I work with light language.
Oh, so do I.
And it is kind of doing mantras and moving my hands and meditating with movement, connecting with the body, and singing also, like in Arameo language, which is a very feminine, divine energy, light language. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. So do I.
I'm going for a walk. I always go to the forest every day, 1 hour to connect with nature.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. So for final words of wisdom for the beautiful listeners, what would you like to share?
If you have to take a decision and it doesn't bring you joy, it's not that way. If it makes you fear, that is not a decision. Every decision aligned with your soul and with yourself, it makes yourself to feel relief, to feel happy, to feel maybe excited, like a little bit of fear, but excited. It's not a fear from pain, it is excitement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the way to start following your truth.
Mm-hmm. I love that. How do the beautiful souls listening to this podcast get to experience or feel more of your wisdom? How do they find you, gorgeous?
Oh, well, I'm in Instagram at Magdalena Lopez.ch. And I actually share a lot of things in Spanish because probably they already realize my mother language is not English. But if you go to my website, you have the link in Instagram. It's the same, Magdalena Lopez.ch. You will also find my website in English and you can read about me a little bit more. I have also podcasts in English, which I collaborate with other English speaking teachers. And yeah, and of course you can always write me, contact me, and I will be so happy to just answer your questions.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, gorgeous girl. I know that there was so much wisdom and energy in this podcast because I was getting the feels the whole way through. And, just thank you so much for showing up in your purest wisdom and sharing it with the world, because the world needs people like you to activate others.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me and for believing in me.